All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Chris Fluck here. Chris Fluck Podcast, Episode 8. Today we got a special impromptu edition. We both kind of had some cancellations, so we're putting in a session here in the early mornings, 8 a.m. here in Pennsylvania right now. So, Frank, we just had a little chat with some people. Talking about this college scandal situation that's going on here. So, what do you got? You got some backstory on it or no?
I don't know a ton about it. I know it's huge. The macro scale of it's pretty crazy. How many people are actually getting bribed? I believe. I know there's a lot of famous people being thrown under the bus, but I think they just got caught. I think people have been doing it as long as college has been around. Probably, honestly.
Well, I saw too the
guy was like just had to donate, or he was like trying to cover it up as a charitable contributions, right?
He had a book.
And that guy went down, and then everybody went down.
He took him down then. Once they got him, I think.
Oh, he rolled.
I think he ratted.
Snitches get ditches, bro. He's gonna not do well in jail.
What was that dude's name? Freaking John Gotti's that snitch. Sammy the Bull. But anyway, this guy, he wrote a book on how to get your kids into college and stuff. So he was like this, I guess an expert, a guru maybe, in getting kids into college.
But his book was about legal ways, obviously.
I assume so. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, it's pretty interesting. And then the dude, so you had that thing where they were like, those random like, hey, my kid was like the captain of his crew team. And then the
pitchers in a swimming pool.
Yeah, and there were some college coaches, right, that were taking money.
Yeah, so I guess there was two ways they were doing it. Though what I was listening to, like they were paying like SAT proctors to like change kids' things after to boost their SAT scores, and they're also paying like athletic coaches to like fake like 5'5" kids win basketball rides and all that stuff.
Basically,
a kid that never what was the other one? She was buying him like lacrosse equipment, and he's never played lacrosse in his life.
I think there was Crew. They said that was the one actress's daughter. I think I read that they said she was a captain. Yeah. Her daughter. I thought it was her that said she was captain of the Crew team. And Chris was telling us some 5'5" basketball player.
Yeah, USC.
They were trying to pass him off as a 6'1".
So they were boosting resumes and doing all kinds of
stuff.
Master P? I thought it was kind of interesting, though, that some people were paying like $100K and some people were paying like $6 million.
Well, the lady was the Felicity Huffman, and the other dude paid $15,000 just to have their kid have more time with the SAT. So I guess the
that's
scale
the one that
was
doubled down on the SAT.
I'm not sure. I didn't get into
who
it
does
too
that?
much.
Who are the proctors for that? Or who does the SATs?
We did them I don't know. You did them at
I mean,
school?
I did an SAT out of school, but who was the person in charge? Just a teacher?
I thought a teacher.
So you could grease them up easy.
You know what, though? I don't know. I don't remember. You could definitely grease them up, though.
Yeah, I would think so.
What else is I going to say? Remember
bad.
Master P's kid? Played basketball at USC?
He's actually good at basketball, though, right?
I don't know. That's what I don't know anymore. I don't know what to believe.
Master P was a decent, like they had those NBA celebrity games. Like I was always like, yeah, he can ball.
He can ball, yeah, but I don't know if his kid was Division I caliber. But now I'm thinking maybe they greased a couple pockets. I mean, USC had Reggie Bush scandal. They were getting
well, I mean, the actual athletes and athletics, that's been dirty since day one. I mean,
yeah,
they just had to find better ways to hide it. I think 40 years ago it was much easier to give away money and give away houses and give them incentive to come to their program. But now I think they have to be a little more sneaky. Because I think it's still happening.
No, the LSU coach, did you see that story?
No.
Now this is hearsay. I didn't read the article. They were just talking this morning about it. He got wiretapped. His phone got tapped, and he said that you would make more money at LSU than you would as a rookie in the NBA. So basically, they're paying these kids to come.
The one and done kids.
I assume so. Yeah.
That's gotta be
right. No, yeah, it is. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. They.
But I mean, how much do you think Shaq got to go to LSU? You don't think Shaq got paid to go to LSU? Did you ever see the movie Blue Chips?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, really good movie.
But what's that guy getting? I mean, who talks about that stuff on the phone? And who's he talking to? Like, is he? Well, I don't know if he was talking to the player. No, this was the head coach of LSU basketball.
Oh, you're talking about it right now.
The men's coach, was like, just outright said, "Hey, we're going to give you more money than you would." Like you think.
Parent.
I don't know. I guess people do illegal stuff. They're not always doing it right in a smart.
Maybe he's got a burner. He got hold of his burner information. He should have used the burner.
Yeah, I don't know. But that goes to them one and done situation. It's like, why you make kids go to school, so it's like, I don't know.
But it's just to boost how much money the NCAA nonprofit's
making.
The NCAA
is a big time issue.
What do you think about paying kids that are in college? You get half the people fired up and half the people be with you.
I don't really care.
Depending on what you say.
Why wouldn't you get money? Like,
I would give them money.
I know, like Johnny Manziel's jersey or Tim Tebow's jersey back in the day, or some of these other guys now. It's like, or the Fab Five guys had a big thing against that too. I think they got in trouble because they weren't allowed to wear Nike. I don't know what they did, but they had some sort of protest and they got in trouble for it. But like, I think right around that time is when it kind of got put on the map and these guys became big things. The NCAA had their guys then too. like the Tebow thing where it's or whatever. There's 100,000 people wearing their jersey and they're not getting $1 of it at the NCAA. So all those guys are shady
because they retroactively did some things, I believe, because like there were years like they had that NCAA game that was dope. It was like the crowd noise, home field advantage and all that. I can't remember. It might just been called NCAA.
That was basketball, right? With the thing would shake and the controller would shake too?
Football is the one I was talking about, but it might have been both.
Yeah.
But those people were actually retroactively paid
to
be in the game. So like the athletes that played during that time that were in that game actually did get money later.
There's a baller, I think it was either Ed O'Bannon or Charles O'Bannon, I remember was on the lawsuit. He was a good college player but didn't make it in the NBA. This was like 3 years ago. That I don't know if the lawsuit's still going on, but they were filed against the NCAA for using their likeness, I think. So
that might be the lawsuits I'm talking about then, though.
But then I guess at that point they stopped. I mean,
they shut down that game in general, I think.
Yeah, all right.
But probably because they didn't want to pay the players.
So you want to pay them? Would you?
I would pay them.
How do you pay the field hockey team compared to the football team?
All right, so this is going to get a lot of people angry, but it's a hard subject because it should be based on how much the sport generates.
Yeah.
So like if a sport, I don't know enough about it to make.
Do you think the money should be?
But I'm assuming that like college football and college basketball men's make more money than most college field hockey teams would.
I don't know the percentage or number, but I think the football program.
I know like scholarships have to be like mapped out now, and they have to give certain amounts to certain sports, but I'm not sure about how much they actually generate for the school.
I think they fund the athletic programs for the most part, like
the big sports.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they do too.
Yeah,
but if we started a company and you did all the work, and then Wolfie didn't do anything, would he make as much money as us?
Obviously, no. But then it gets to like this weird like socialism scheme as well. But where you're like trying to spread wealth evenly or keep it top heavy.
Annual-based income, bro.
You want to get into that?
Residual-based income in Alaska? Oil money?
No, let's not
talk about AI right now.
Let's go with any college athletes, man. We're paying them?
I would pay them.
Pay them what?
I wouldn't. Let me
cost of living?
Let me add this into. Yeah, I would pay them cost of living for sure.
Because you can't work.
Think about how much money they make for the school.
It's messed
up. But
up.
also think about. There's plenty of players that went from high school to the NBA. So if that's really, I don't think they should have to go to college for a year in the NBA. In NFL, it's different because they're bigger, faster, stronger. They're going to probably get hurt. If they're going to crack by grown men that are 25 years old, then have developed so much more. But like basketball, like LeBron James did it, Kobe Bryant did it, Tracy McGrady. Like there's a list of people that tried to go to the NBA and didn't make it. But that should be their choice, it shouldn't be a developmental thing. And how much harder did Kobe Bryant work than these people too, Just because he put in that much more time and developed and became one of the best players of all time, like that's on him for being awesome, not the other guy for not working.
Yeah, and they, it's almost like a trade too, where like you could leave high school and go become an electrician or weld, but you're not able to go into the NBA or pursue making money. After high school,
yeah, and you're not allowed to have because you can't have contract deals in college. You can't do any of the like side stuff that all these people have these side hustles now.
Yeah,
and the endorsement money, like
And then
all
what
that
happens
stuff.
if you have this devastating injury or
and it's over? But Zion's shoe blown out, man. What if it was a minor sprain? What if that was serious?
The Willis McGahee knee injury.
Thank God he came back and was actually successful. But that was a bad injury.
McGahee,
No, it was Miami, in the championship game.
Yep, like that kind of thing.
Did he drop in the draft?
Probably.
I would assume so.
Yeah. But I don't even know if he came back. I don't think he came back in college. I don't know. But remember the South Carolina?
He didn't come back in college. He went right to the NFL.
Lattimore a couple years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the Niners drafted him, but he never returned to the field, I don't think, ever. And, so, I mean, he could have maybe been on the NFL team as a freshman or rookie, but I don't know if he was physically ready for that either.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It has to almost be sport dependent. I really can't see 17, 18-year-old boys in the NFL.
So, like, let's say Johnny or
but it's just a different sport. It's the nature of the sport,
How many? Johnny Manziel won the Heisman, then came back the next year, right?
Yes.
So
he won as a freshman.
Yeah, and then
he was the first freshman to ever win a Heisman.
So it's like, what is that? If we're going back to paying these guys, what does a Heisman Trophy winner make compared to the
backup lineman,
165-pounder on the wrestling team? You give that guy more money, or you keep it?
In my opinion,
yeah. Or is it a basic stipend? Like,
it's got to be a basic stipend, I think, just for simplicity. But it shouldn't be.
Especially in the beginning, maybe. Just because like you're already fighting one fight and paying the athletes.
It's not like they're not putting in a lot of, like they're doing way more than the average student. Like there's a lot more on their plate.
Potentially, you don't know.
Like strength training practice.
The student could work 10 hours.
They have mandatory hours.
Like
well, they could be working a job
just to pay tuition.
Yeah,
they could.
It's all situational dependent. You're right. Yeah.
Because somebody they could come from a super wealthy family and just have 4 hours of class every day, and somebody might have to, pay their own way and have 3 jobs. And
You're right.
And not have money to buy food
or
either.
be in the military for 8 years.
But
or
those
whatever
guys
it is,
that
and
are
you go to the GI Bill.
the guys that are required to go to practice in order to get their scholarship. So people will be like, "You're already getting paid," but then how do they live while they're in college? Right? They're getting paid to go to that school, but it's are they even getting paid to go eat lunch?
Sorry.
Does every kid have an opportunity to go eat a good meal? What happens once the scholarship?
You're saying
money, you might have a meal
scholarship
plan
money,
school,
yeah.
Or what if you want to go out with friends and go see a movie or something? It's they don't have time to even have a job. So
when it comes down to some of it comes down to this too, though. I want to pursue education, but you didn't. But where's the next step? You're getting this free education that maybe I care about, but you don't. You don't care about the education at all. You're just using it as a stepping stone to do something, to do the next
football,
whatever thing you're doing. Yeah,
and get to the professional ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
or become,
there's some the guy played. I forget his name. He was a cornerback, but their motto. He went to Maryland, and C's get degrees is what was pretty much the slogan. They just kind of did whatever they had to do to get a C, just so they could get out of there eventually and go play. So,
well, and how much does an employer, even with a normal student, care about your GPA? I think a lot of people just care if you actually get a diploma.
Right.
But everyone's got a diploma now, so it's great. We'll get.
Yeah.
Everybody has a diploma now, so we're getting into an issue where, it's overflooded with diplomas. What's it really mean at this point? So the cost of education is going skyrocketing, basically. What we've figured out, state schools have almost doubled in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And kids are getting out and still making trash money, maybe not possibly getting a job, working multiple jobs,
Well, I think there's a local private school right up the road here, Lehigh, that might have went up $10,000 in the last since one group of parents were in, and I think they said in the past 6 years it went up over 10. They have
so they're sitting at $70,000 a year though.
Yes.
So you go for 4 years, $280,000.
Yeah, and then what?
But if you don't have a great
degree.
job coming out, if you don't have a 99% chance to get into the perfect job fit,
and that's not a master's.
What are you paying, dude?
That's not graduate school. It's not master's. It's nothing, and everybody seems to be going longer now. So
and the 280 sounds crazy to me, but even as someone that says, "Oh, only 100,000," think about the interest on top of that. Mm-hmm. You're not paying that. Most people probably aren't just paying that as they go.
Yeah.
So you're borrowing that money and then paying 4% over 10 years. If it's over 100,000, I think you can take it over 30 years.
Yeah.
But
either way,
it's a ton of money,
and you can't get out of it.
Yeah, it's the only debt you can't get out of. So if you go bankrupt, you can basically eliminate all their debt except student loan debt.
Yeah, which is odd. I don't know why. It's set up that way. I don't know why it's set up that way, but yeah, you can't file bankruptcy or nothing on it. Yeah. And then too, with even going to the athletic side of things, I had a friend in high school. He was a wrestler, and he was Division I caliber wrestler. A state school pretty much was going to pay his way, which at the time, I don't know, whatever, it was enough. They were going to give him a full scholarship to go. There was a lesser program, smaller conference. Might have been able to go there and be in the mix to start right away. Chose to go to Maryland and then ended up with over $100,000 in debt. And he was it was just a huge mistake. The University of Maryland is obviously superior than a Pennsylvania State school in the sense of the environment and the atmosphere, but it also set him back, 4 to 8 years in terms of paying off debt. So it's either way, he was a Division I wrestler. The Maryland experience might have had better coaching, might have had better experience, but maybe it wouldn't have either. Maybe the Bloomsburg thing could have been a better opportunity for him. So I don't know. But anyway.
What do you think about the difference in degrees? If it's not a Harvard business school, is there that much of a gap?
I don't know.
If you went to Bloomsburg compared to Maryland, would an employer be like, oh, he went to Maryland,
Right, but what if you get that job opportunity with the dude was a Bloom wrestling alum or something, and he hooked you up with a big-time job,
No, I don't think there's that much of a difference, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I think people don't care where it's from.
I would think that
to an extent, unless it's these super prestigious schools where parents are paying millions of dollars to get their kids into.
Well, in this area where we are, Lehigh University is this big thing, but then Marisa, who's from Long Island, went to school at Virginia Tech.
Horse lady.
Yeah, she's nobody really knows Lehigh on the West Coast. It's a Northeast thing.
Yeah,
like
it's small.
So if
it's relatively small,
if you go
too,
to
right?
California, and it's like Virginia Tech, say, or Lehigh.
They would hear this.
What are they going to know? They're probably going to know Virginia Tech. I would think more than a Lehigh degree. But if you're in the Northeast, it's like Lehigh is a very strong university. So,
but I guess the big part of going to like Lehigh would be the connections you meet at Lehigh, right?
At Lehigh,
so, like, it's all about networking.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing you get out of those schools. But you're right. You can meet those people at another school as well.
Marisa works with students. I mean, there's kids coming from, like, one of the girls, North Carolina. This kid was from California. Just all over the country, people come to this small school in Pennsylvania, basically just for that. The education, obviously, is probably pretty good, but then just for those strong connections up in the Northeast. So if you want to work in New York, if you want to be, whatever, some sort of mover and shaker in the Wall Street or something, I don't know. But, like, I feel like those ties are pretty strong up here. So the University of Maryland degree might have some value in a certain region compared to another. I don't know, honestly. It could. I don't know. I'm not an employer either, so it's like, I don't know. I guess, who knows? But 4 years of school, $250,000+ of debts. We're talking a few years.
And then you got to pay $280.
Yeah, plus. Who knows what. But, it's crazy stuff, man.
And then you got expenses probably on top of that they're paying along the way, too,
And you were saying, too, like...
Well, I just think it's oversaturated, too. Like, all these people... Well, part of it's like... okay. So, like, I understand if you're going there and you're going to have a lucrative career.
Yeah.
But, like, some of the schools offer stuff like social work, too, right? Like, you're going to start out social work making $20,000, max out at $50,000. Like, with that much debt, like, what are you really... Like, what are you going to do, live in your mom's basement?
You might.
For 30 years?
Living good down there.
You're probably living your best life, for sure, right?
Yeah, free meals.
Home-cooked meals.
But, that doesn't make sense, honestly, because if you're thinking about the return on your investment, I mean, it's going to take, 5 to 10 years just to get back to even, if you're lucky.
And part of the issue is, like, when you're 17, 18, you have no clue what you want to do.
You're not making financial decisions.
No.
Like, when you're 22 and you're out of school, like, you're probably not the smartest financially either. So, in terms of saving and paying off debt, you might just be like, well, it's a 8-year debt or whatever it's set up.
10.
You're just paying the minimum, and you're not even thinking about interest. Probably some kids, I assume, are.
I took a forbearance. I deferred and took a forbearance for a while too.
I know. It's like you almost have to.
Yeah.
But then too, like.
But you're accruing interest, I think, during this period.
So then,
at least one.
And then transitioning into that, we just started in a career that maybe might not have been great to pay off debt, but in the long run, hopefully everything is cool and you get this stuff paid off and like you're having fun and enjoying your job. I think some kids feel like they're stuck then and have to they can't switch majors because that's going to cost them another year at school.
Yeah.
Where it's an extra $50,000 on it. So like, screw it, I'm staying in this major. I'm not going to enjoy the work, but whatever. Like they feel stuck too.
It's got to be degree dependent.
And then,
what's your degrees in exercise science?
No, it was it's like half business. It was sport management, health and wellness was like what it was tagged on. So like I took the basic, anatomy stuff, but we didn't go too far into that and kinesiology because there was like some business courses mixed in too.
That's awesome.
The reason I did that though was because I was at Bloomsburg. We're talking about degrees. I don't want to say are being pointless, but say at Bloomsburg and it's like you're a business management degree where there's hundreds of kids in that program. That's one state school in Pennsylvania. So you start looking at all the other schools that offer business management, which is like total, it's not specific really to anything. So, I mean, I would have got out of school and been like, now what do I do? So anyway, not a total transition, but I found a school that allowed most of those business credits to work and then still get in the exercise part of it too and not have to like extend the college career too long. But I did a lot of stuff online too. Like the degree I got, I never stepped foot on their campus because I finished online there.
Yeah.
And I never will step foot on that campus. But I don't know. At the time,
I think a lot of kids when they start and go into these degrees too, assume they're going to keep going to school. So I went into exercise science. I was like, I'll just keep going to physical therapy school. Mm-hmm. And they changed to a doctorate program accelerated for 3 years.
Of course.
But I don't know.
But then you're looking at 6 years of school and like, who knows what? And everybody's got different situations too. I think it's messed up.
Psychology too. It doesn't seem to have much to do with a bachelor's. You got to keep certain degrees. You definitely seem like you're a lifetime student. Not lifetime, but it's definitely going to take some time.
More than 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to go with something else too with
trade schools,
the health and wellness.
Tech.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's a ton of jobs out there where you can make great money. I think without going to college right now.
Right.
And entrepreneurship, but I think some of these kids that are going to Tech is awesome because they're getting some time in high school where they're not paying for it, can get out right into the job force, gain some experience. I mean, some of those unions like journeyman pipe fitters, fixing elevators.
They make money. They make a good living. It's hard work though, and like you have to want to do that. Like
but the higher you get, if you get into like foreman levels, I think you're doing less manual, right?
And I think
like if you're like kind of like
the lower level people get weeded out if you don't have if you don't have a work ethic. So it doesn't matter what you choose as a job though.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a work ethic as a psychologist, or if you don't have a work ethic as labor or electrician, like you're just not going to have a job either way. So like, you got to have a certain drive. You got to have a certain kind of drive, I think, no matter what you get into. But I think in order to have that drive, you have to be interested too. Sometimes I think so.
Yeah.
Like the one lady, or Delana, you met her in here. She's a
welder.
A welder, and is like she's all about it. She gets into these flow states and could work like whatever 15-hour days just welding all day, every day, high rise, up, who knows how high, super risky stuff. But she gets compensated for the risk that she takes too. So I don't know, risk reward, I guess.
Yeah. I think it is more about like what you're passionate about and what you want to do though. Like somebody, especially like at my age, so many people just hate what they're doing.
I'd say almost
like every day you get up and go to work or whatever, 5 days a week, you're living for the weekend. Like
I tell people,
it just seems rough.
I tell people I get like 3 to 5 hours a day in the middle of the day to be home, and it's like people like look at me like I got two heads, like because it's like but
you worked. It's almost like going to work twice too as a trainer.
Yeah, so I'll do a morning.
Like you do a morning shift and a night shift, so like you get that break in the middle of the day. But sometimes don't you wish it was all slammed into one shift, and you just had to go to work once.
Yeah,
but you're always.
But it's still not a 10-hour day.
It's such a different job because you're doing all these other stuff though. Because we're working on blogs, you're doing podcasts now. Like we're doing several different things.
Yeah.
So it's not like like we get paid specifically to train people or for those things, but like there's a lot of other work that goes into it.
Right, but then we do it on our own time. So like. For me, I mean, I'm just doing it when everybody's sleeping or answer emails. Like yesterday, Emmy passed out in the car, and instead of going home and trying to maneuver her out, I just let her sleep in her car seat, and I was
banging at work,
hitting emails, just replying to people. So I don't know, just trying to make good use of the time. But like, if you don't work 10 hours, it's like you're not working hard for some reason. It's like what people think, and it's like no, we're only
physically.
How
many people working 10 hours are actually being productive for all 10 of those hours?
Probably not many, and they're probably not.
That's a U.S.
happy.
thing too, though. I think. U.S. seems to work more hours, less vacation, less less maternity leave.
And more depression and more.
I think there's going to be a big link coming out with like social media and depression and stuff too, though.
Yeah, it's scary stuff.
And like people are obsessed.
Well, yeah, we talked about it.
People get anxiety from taking their phones away.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like in the gym, fitness industry, you see all this stuff, or people say they're showing their big journey. Like, oh, you lost 85 pounds, but you could have done it in like a really unhealthy way, and that person could have been super sad. But if you're seeing this person like, oh my God, that's so awesome, I'm going to be like them. So that's like knocking you down a few levels, but you don't know their story on the other end. And it's like, all you see is all this positive. Then you look at you look at yourself and you think you're like not sufficient or not doing enough work or something. And
there's a lot of posers though and stuff too, man.
No, I know.
There's like entrepreneurs out there taking pictures by like Bugattis and like Ferraris that aren't theirs, like
man,
and just acting like they got money, but they're drowning in debt. You know,
I know.
Like Instagram, you can be a fake person.
You can.
A Finsta high school kid told me that the other day. They have fake Instagram accounts.
Yeah. That's just so their mommy's not seeing it though.
Yeah.
But
throwing up stories they don't want people to see.
Yeah. There's a lot of phonies out there for sure. But
you know what's kind of crazy too on Instagram too is like people like being like life coaches and like business coaches and stuff that have never done anything.
Well, T Nation has those awesome posts like the person did their first bodybuilding. They did a physique show or something, and then they became a expert in working out and nutrition because they did one show or something.
Yeah.
So they take some shots at people, and they're pretty like brutally honest.
It's pretty funny.
It is fun. I get a good laugh out of it because it is true. Or not to bash like the multi-level marketing stuff with the beach bodies and stuff like that, because like it does empower some people. Maybe like that mom could stay at home and do a workout on a video, which is cool. It's better than
something's
not doing
always
the workout.
better than nothing, man.
But the people selling it too, you got to be careful. Like they might not be an expert. They might be an expert in the Beachbody product, but not exactly
great salesperson
in health, wellness, physical fitness, and nutrition. They're only using the products that they buy and sell.
This is what we're talking about classes the other day too. Like some of these larger classes, like people are just doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. Maybe you got
to modify.
Especially with those old programs like the ones that was that one based on like all not all, but a lot of plyometrics, like Insanity. If you have a 300-pound dude that's out of shape, has no muscle mass, no strength to stabilize his joints, and you have him doing unilateral scissor hops, it's a recipe for disaster.
followed up like
overuse or
for like a minute.
Be a real injury. Yeah,
like a minute straight.
So fatigue makes cowards of us all, bro. Like that's gonna get bad.
It's gonna get real ugly. I wouldn't want to do it. I'd be sore. My calves and ankles would be all jacked. But
I had a friend from high school too that just messaged me. She started working with a trainer, and she said it that she vomited in the first session, which is not. She was like, "Oh, is that normal?" And like the trainer was kind of acting like it was normal. I was like, I try not to make anybody vomit initially, like vomit or pass out. Like it might happen once in a while. People are feeling bad or drinking on the weekend. Like people might vomit, but like if that shouldn't be your goal. Like that means your central nervous system's so stressed out that your response is to do something that's gonna make you stop working out, like vomit or pass out. Like it's like a protection mechanism.
Yeah.
So that's way too much of a stimulus. Why would you give that much stimulus when you could get the same, reap the same reward with less?
Yeah, I would just I agree 100%.
But I think a lot of people are out there like that are just like, oh.
So I think too when you get to some of these like commercial gym situations. They want to feel like sometimes so somebody hasn't worked out in a while. Literally for that session, one set of like 8 exercises just might be enough.
Yeah.
And then
I want people to work hard.
Minutes.
I'm not saying I don't. I try to work people hard, but there's got to be some kind of cap.
You get those people that are like sore for days afterwards, right? So that happens, and I'm like, we should have just done but in the moment they're like, yeah, I feel good.
Yeah.
So you just keep doing some stuff. Then they're sore for 3 or 4 days, and when you think about it, it's like we probably should have done 1 or 2 sets, and they would have been fine. It doesn't always happen. I don't do that.
But then the person would be too.
Then they would be like, well, they're really good at workout.
Yeah.
So anyway, everybody wants to gas people. Yeah. They want to do burpees, and they want to have 40-year-old women.
And it's just so different because everything's so, like. So I just had Filippo just came back, a basketball player that's been playing basketball like crazy. He practices all the time, and it's just such a different stimulus. So he's insanely physical active, but he only worked out, once every 10 days, say during the season, in-season training program. Now he's working out 3 days a week again, and he's super sore though.
Yeah, for sure. For that situation, stimulus. That situation, because he was still active, like whatever, I would get right back into it. Not to the same level, but what you're doing is probably fine, honestly, because he's going to be sore because he hasn't squatted in a while. Yeah. Even if it's light.
And it's recovery too, though. Like some of these people that are sore for days, it's because they're not doing the right things. So like if you're super sore and you lay on the couch for 3 days because you're super sore and don't stimulate any blood flow to those affected muscles, like. You're going to stay sore longer if you're not pushing fluid. If you're not drinking water, if you're not eating the right things, like you're going to stay sore longer. Like at some point you have to and we have those conversations with people all the time about recovery, but a lot of people don't do the things they should do to recover faster.
And sometimes none of it's going to work either. You're going to be sore.
Yeah.
Like you could try really hard and taking a bunch of calories and do a protein shake of some sort, but if you haven't worked out in 6 months, then you come back in and you start doing some lower body
That's what you say too,
exercises.
Though, you could do nothing and play patty cake with somebody. They're probably gonna be sore.
Do 50 lunges.
If you do a tense patty cake for 30 minutes, like
I'd get sore.
They're probably gonna be sore for sure.
In here?
Yeah, I think core, anti-rotation, probably even
rear delts,
subscapular muscles too, right?
But the woman last night, box jumps, took a hiatus from working out. The gym that she was at had her doing box jumps, and it's like she's just trying to get back in the swing of things and
the way people do box jumps. They do it for metabolic conditioning, so they're jumping back. A box jump is actually a relatively safe drill, especially for athletes, because it's like you're being explosive, but you're landing on a higher box. So you're actually absorbing less force than you would be doing a normal jump. But I think as a conditioning mechanism, a lot of people will jump to a box and then jump back down off the box, which I think is like 80% of the injuries.
Bad news.
It's people coming backward, jumping back off the box is like the biggest place people could hurt.
Yeah.
Instead of if you're going for explosiveness, explode up there, step off the box, or get it down you're not ripping back into the ground.
Oh, same with
I wouldn't, at least, because depth drop. Think about a depth drop. They say you should be able to squat double your body weight to even do a depth drop, and you're doing that from 12 inches.
And think
about 20 inches.
I mean, anybody that saw somebody work out could see if somebody jumps off a box. I don't want to say a majority, but you'll see a jolting going on there.
Yeah.
So you know that whatever's going on is a little bit more
absorb the
impact.
force and they can't decelerate correctly,
So
or they're not. But it's probably because they're not able to physically. Like it's not that I don't even think it's a knowledge thing. I think it's they're not capable.
I'm saying it doesn't take an expert to see. That doesn't look right.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes you don't have to be an expert to see that that's a strong jolt and the knees are wobbly. But if you jump up on a box, you're here, your drop is only to here, which is 6 inches as opposed to 30 inches or whatever we got here.
Yeah.
So obviously with gravity and all that other stuff, it's going to be less of an impact. Super safe. Don't jump off them.
Yeah. That's and probably you out of shape and me out of shape, it would be safer for you to do it just with less force too.
Mass,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
So it's mass times acceleration. We're talking physics now.
Yeah.
You want to dive in? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't want to.
I'm going to break down Newton's laws
you want to talk about aliens?
Oh, yeah. So, no, we're talking about jumping down, and then we're going to talk about, did you ever go to the Sky Zone stuff, the bouncy?
I haven't, but there's a lot of injuries. Dude, oh, wait, no.
The trampoline parks?
I haven't personally been to a trampoline park, no. But I've assumed there's a lot of. Do you remember the basketball on the trampolines? I don't even know if they do it anymore. No, but that was like ACL Terra City.
I was throwing down dunks at this trampoline park.
Yeah.
First time ever I could throw down. But anyway, if you jump on these,
you must be so athletic.
No, it was a lot of springing. But anyway, you're bouncing around, and then when you want to get off the thing, you have to land on a padded surface. But the first time I did it, you're bouncing, and then you hit the soft surface, and it's like, dude, and I'm like, holy crap! Like I didn't want to do that.
You see how bad stuff would happen.
Oh my God, kids are getting stress fractures everywhere. There's a school nurse that used to come in here every Monday. It's like kids were coming in with injuries, lower limb injuries.
It's dangerous. Stress fractures.
Stress fractures.
That's the number one reason people find the female triad.
Oh, you're going to transition?
No, we don't have to.
I was going to pivot into youth training first.
Oh, into it.
I was going to use the trampoline park.
And the danger aspect?
So we're talking about some serious risk factors there. So now with kids, kids could obviously handle a lot more than adults say. So they could run and jump off objects and probably be okay with it.
Part because of mass.
Yeah, and they're smaller and their joints.
They have less mobility issues. Part because,
And they probably just less years of abuse, wear and tear, stuff like that.
Mileage,
they could heal. Yeah, less mileage.
I miss that, man. I used to sprain an ankle and be good in a couple of days. I sprained an ankle 2 years ago. I was out for like 6 months. I couldn't squat.
That's bad news, man.
It is.
A little bit. You got to work on your suppleness and the ankle joint. Maybe get some more barefoot training.
I think I need more rigidity in my ankle joint.
Yeah, you're too.
Like I think I stretched it out pretty good. I have like a lot of sprains.
You're too mobile. For sure.
Too mobile. Someone call me a supple leopard.
But
kids in danger.
Kids?
I think kids in training in here and stuff.
We had a mother. So anyway, with training, I think my goal too, and it's not always what parents want to hear, is like I just want to be like a pretty positive thing for kids to come in and have fun. Kids came in yesterday 6 or 8 minutes early. I'm like, guys, you got 8 minutes till we start. Mess around and play with whatever you want to play with, and then we'll all warm up together. So had kids work on some jump rope skills. Some of the guys, they want to climb ropes. Some kids want to get a ladder out. They want to do box jumps. They want to see if they could deadlift a little bit. Whatever. Keep it a little bit loose and flexible. Try to keep it a positive environment. There is no...
Why do you think that's so successful?
I don't want to say it is successful.
I think it is. I think it's because they want to come back then.
Right. So I want
instead
them
of
to feel good
parents
about
taking them somewhere they don't want to be.
I obviously want them to excel in sports to the best of their ability, but
obviously
the main goal is to just give somebody a great workout environment. I don't want to be a tyrant. I don't want to give out our trusty intern yesterday was threatening push-ups. I'm never threatening push-ups on anybody. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get these kids to not screw around and get in line and get on board with stuff, whether it's just telling them like, yo, guys, let's go. Like, get usually all it takes, because I keep it loose and flexible, that if I say, yo, guys, like, they usually get on board just because it's usually loose. But if I have to say something to them, then it's probably legit. Yeah. So anyway, sorry.
To keep them safe, obviously.
But even they're like messing around. Yeah. They're messing around with some of the drills like this. Who wants to sit on their butt and do the seated arm action stuff? But when they're up and running,
to fix things. You do. But that's what we're talking about the other day too. Like even if you can fix one thing in a session, like that's a win.
And then they come once a week.
Because if you start a kid would do a 10-yard sprint. You could pull out 7 things they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
You give them 7 things right there, they're not gonna fix one. They're gonna be so overwhelmed they have no clue.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, yo, let's start with the easiest thing, fix that, and then next time maybe I'll say something else to them. There's got to be like a method to it too.
But then
say, because if you just always let bad things happen, it is ingraining bad motor patterns.
Exactly.
But if you can slowly fix it. You can't make it perfect when something's that bad.
And it helps your coaching cues too, where if you do the seated arm thing, if the kid's running, all you have to do is say arms to them, and they'll know because we went over it already with the seated arm drill. So then like instead of throwing all these words at them, the more you practice some of the basic stuff, the less wordy you have to get with your coaching, and then you could also just use these cues. Hey, arms. Hey, posture.
Big on the basics, man.
Whatever. And even with the lifts, too, just say posture with some kids. If you talk to them 100 times about them being grounded, hey, fix your back.
It's so individual, though, too, because you could say something to one person, and they do exactly what you say, and you say something to the same exact cue to another person, and it throws them the opposite of what you want them to do.
You could say,
kind of wild.
Chest up for one, and then they'll know to get this. Or
But someone else, if they hear shoulders back, they'll do the same thing.
Yeah, or they'll start getting some hyperextended.
Or pack your leg, whatever you're saying. Like, yeah. But it depends how.
So with more coaching, more experience, you could condense and kind of fix your coaching cues a little bit. So with the youth stuff, that's kind of my. They said,
I was reading something the other day. They were saying 40% for coaches. 40% comes from what you have done to yourself. 40% comes from working with people, and then they were trying to say that only 20% comes from like all the like further education, continuation credits, initial, like that base is only 20%. So you learn 80% from practical application on yourself and on other people. I would agree with it though, probably.
Because that 20% too, like what you were saying about if you get one thing a week, the more experience you get in here. So let's just say when I first started coaching football, the first clinic I went to where there's college coaches there telling you all this stuff, it's like you're taking massive amounts of notes. You're like, whoa, I didn't even know this was a thing. These colleges are doing this, that, whatever. But then the more experience you get, you know, the less you take. So you might only get to that point where you're only getting one thing with every book you read, one thing with every clinic you go to. So like that's why it's probably only 20%. You're going to get more out of working, I think, hands-on with, I think, a wide variety of, like I like working with kids. I like working with people that never worked out before because it's like a total clean slate and you get to see like the way people naturally move and then.
And they get those beginner gains.
Beginner gains are awesome, yeah.
Well, it's cool that they get better because that's what people pay us to do, but like it's cool to see them like embrace that.
They get fired up. I mean, the girls' lacrosse team that I had a couple weeks ago, they're flexing.
Yeah. Well, they were Jack and Steel by the end.
She was so
in the
proud.
beginning, they could barely pick up a bar, and then they're throwing around 95-pound hand cleans. You know,
they didn't want to. Well, no, it's not that they didn't want to. They were just.
They didn't know though.
They never did it.
They didn't know how empowering it can be.
20
makes
push-ups.
you feel alive.
20 push-ups in gym class. One girl came in and told me that right away. Proud. She was proud. She was banging 20. So anyway, no, it's cool. I love it. It's awesome. But anyway, so getting those young kids, getting them to feel good about what they're doing. I think getting females to feel good about it. Like it's okay to get strong. It's okay to lift certain weights. Like it's part of the game.
It's okay.
Now.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a part of the game now.
Yeah, get in.
And so I mean, so as a selling point to a parent that or a coach that wants their kid to be, the next pro athlete, that's not enticing to them. They probably would end up going to a gym where it's like we put out Division I athletes on stuff.
So, you see these guys post it. Like
I did too. Like not a lot, but it's like there's kids I've worked with that gone to college. Football kids. I mean, there's Division I kids. There's wrestlers Division I. There's kids winning different titles. Yeah, I worked with them too, but it's not the selling point. Like I don't hype
strength
that
and conditioning's
up.
weird too, though, because so many of those kids worked with so many different people.
Yeah.
Like different sports-specific training, different program. Like their high school program, then they went to 3 different gyms, for whatever 3 different times, and then they worked with 2 college different strength coaches. You know,
and they got private lessons on technique.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what? Is it really you that made them that way?
No.
We just try to like help as much as we can. Like it's not like our accomplishment. You know, we can just guide, but it's on the kid or on the whoever.
Yeah, 100%.
They're making it happen, not us.
Parents getting them involved with whatever.
Even skill specific stuff. They're not. It's still the kid.
Yeah. No, I was just saying like seeking out the right person. It's usually like a parent or a coach. Like, hey, this guy's great for this, or this woman could help you with that, and I don't know.
And that's cool. I'm just saying,
kids getting it. Yeah.
Still their accomplishment.
But then that's kind of my goal for the gym say. But then we had a mother the other day asking, she has a little girl and was just like what do you recommend? Like for a young kid, and she was asking about gymnastics, and then there's like the thing. Well, it used to be with like lifting weights, it would stunt your growth, and then wrestling. Wrestlers are short. Maybe it's gymnasts are short. Yeah,
but I don't think it's a product of the sport. I think those sports cater towards shorter kids. So like if it's gymnastics and a girl's growing really fast, she's probably going to be weeded out.
6'1", you're probably going to play basketball.
She's probably going to have a hard time doing 3 flips in there.
6'7" guys.
How big was Simone Biles?
Don't know.
Under 5 probably.
Yeah.
And it's a young person's sport. That's why like she was probably 17.
I don't think she was that old.
16? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's a young person's sport.
Yeah.
They're usually not fully developed.
Like, if you're in college, you're probably not competing.
Olympically.
Yeah, for the U.S. anyway. I don't know how other countries are. Probably the same.
But the same time, I would assume.
Chinese team's got like a.
But wrestling has the same contrast, though, with some people think it's like developing like eating disorders and body dysmorphia and all that stuff. And not like developmental.
I think I'm
brain development.
Yeah,
body development.
It could.
Not having enough nutrition.
Yeah, it definitely could. Yeah. I would agree. But I'm also a little bit more aware of how weight loss works too, just because of that experience where you drink a cup out of that mug, you're putting on over a pound probably.
Yeah.
So you weigh yourself, you got to make weight.
It's
you
true.
know that you
That's so true though.
Hey, you're 4/10 underweight. You could have a little swig maybe.
Cole? How old's Cole?
Oh man, he's in 7th grade.
He's so mature about the weight thing, man. He's just like
he knows.
He's like, if I'm over, he's like, I just got to take away, the snacks people are eating. Like, I'm still going to eat all the good food. Like, some kids just don't get it. Yeah. He gets it.
And if you're like 1.2 pounds over the night before and you got to weigh in at 8 the next day, you know you're probably going to drift like a pound overnight, wake up and go to the bathroom, good to go. You know, so is that healthy? Probably not. So with kids,
probably
though,
to an extent, but it's like anything can be taken too far.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of something's awesome, but then a lot of it might not be.
The worst year I had wrestling, cut 20-something pounds from like 175 to like 152. Best year I had, I gained weight throughout the season. Like,
But isn't it part of that, like, holding on to lean muscle mass, strength, and power?
Yeah, I started strength training that year. It just felt good, felt strong. I was still maybe a little bit undersized for the weight class I was at because some bigger guys came down. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it felt good, though.
Yeah.
Could I have gone down a weight class and been just as strong? Probably close. Probably close, honestly, but just decided not to. Yeah. But anyway, there's a small shift in wrestling where that is kind of becoming a thing, and there's some restrictions in terms of hydration tests that they're doing for middle school and high school age kids.
Which is good.
And then we're talking about
stunning growth in gymnastics.
So wrestling skills, though. So two things I think: wrestling and gymnastics. Wrestling, obviously, girls are wrestling. Obviously, boys do gymnastics. Predominantly, wrestling is a male sport. Like, that sport teaches kids incredible things in terms of body control, bear crawling, cartwheels, climbing ropes, stuff like that. And what we were talking about with the parent the other night, Carla, was like gymnastics teaches girls just incredible skill set in terms of moving their body around,
relative strength,
push-ups, chin-ups. Like, girls could come in here.
Crazy.
I mean, there's one girl, same family.
Explosive, man.
20 rope climbs in a day.
Yeah.
In like 30 minutes. A 9-year-old was
gymnast,
doing this. Because she was a gymnast, right? Yeah. And she does it at gymnastics, so it's a practice skill.
Gymnastics is a big time commitment.
So it teaches great. Both those sports, I think, teach great.
Does wrestling also have? Well, maybe it's different in boys, but does that also delay puberty like it does in gymnastics?
I think if you're cutting weight and you're 13 years old,
it's going to delay puberty,
I think it
right?
has to.
Yeah, because that's what they're saying in gymnastics too. With the short argument was that it's delaying puberty. Like, those kids are still going to grow; they're just hitting it at a later age.
I read that too.
Wrestling?
I believe that just because it was this book, The Sports Gene, that said it, and I would think it would have to be. Yeah, and it's like. You're just probably not getting the nutrients you need to grow properly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a baby now, and it's like you got to pump them up with.
Yeah.
If you want them to develop, they need nutrients. So if you're going through growth spurts, I imagine it's the same thing. Females. Oh yeah, no. I think people just get weeded out though. Like you were saying, it's Darwin, man. It's
Darwinism. Survival of the fittest.
6'7" wrestlers. If you're 6'4" in middle school, are you going to wrestle, or is that basketball coach going to talk you into playing basketball?
Only Phil Davis.
Is he 6'4"?
No, he's like 6'1". But that's a tall wrestler.
And he wrestled I think he was like a 197 in college. I think he was a bigger dude.
But yeah, you're going to go towards what
heavyweights. They're big.
Going to help you out.
Like, there's 6'4" heavyweights and stuff. There's
Are there any 6'10" wrestlers?
Johnny Bones Jones.
Can you name one?
6'10" wrestlers. Can I name one? I don't think so. No, I can't. Can you? No. Yeah.
But I'm saying those kids will play basketball.
But the sport of
wrestling. Or play nothing.
So talking then with training, then gymnastics and wrestling. And obviously other sports, but just using those two because we're talking about it, it is a slippery slope with how much you even want to get involved with it. 1 day a week, but then it becomes, hey, your daughter.
Or how long you want to stay involved in it. Maybe it'd be better to be involved in it at a younger age, but then possibly transition that into something else.
And if you decide as a parent, like, I'm going to do 1 day a week, and then let's say your girl loves it. Let's say your girl's coach is like, she's really good. We have this thing going on.
Well, every girl's coach is probably going to say that because they're paid on it.
Hey, she's only 7, but I think she could actually come and work out with the girls 8 to 10.
Yeah.
So then she's going twice a week now.
But then if you keep going that path, at some point you're going to be homeschooled.
Right, and then your body might break down.
Yeah.
Or your mental, you might be fragile mentally because of comparing yourself. Like I talked about in the last newsletter, it's like, at what cost? You might be able to get a scholarship to one of these big programs, LSU,
Denver.
Alabama, Denver. Anyway, but then at what cost? Your body might break down and you're 20 years old, and that might affect your mental well-being. So then you become that 25-year-old, 35-year-old that talks about what they used to be able to do and scared to kind of get back in the game, as opposed to maybe going to a lesser school, being a big fish, being a big fish in a small pond, instead of, So anyway, just off that mindset, you look at the Ivy League schools, the suicide rate is much higher at Ivy League schools than the national average, because these kids that are big fish in small ponds at their high school, then they become a big fish in a big pond, and they're like everybody else, and they struggle with not succeeding because they never failed before growing up too. So
failure's good. I think you learn some of life's best lessons by failing.
Sets you up for some potential mental being fragile. not being anti-frail.
Anti-frail.
But yeah. So
Mentally,
anyway,
physically,
what
and
do you tell a
emotionally.
girl? What do you tell a girl? She's got a 5-year-old daughter. If the daughter wants to do gymnastics, I'm
Let
like,
her
yeah,
do it. I say let them do whatever they want and whatever they're like
Is it
drawn
gonna
to.
stunt their growth?
If they're not into it, they're not going to keep doing it. They're not going to learn from it. If you're just taking them there and they hate it, what are they going to get out of it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to stunt their growth. I don't think it's going to mess with their development.
No, yeah. They used to
If you're
say
worried
that about weight
injuries,
training too, that your epithelial plates would get damaged and you wouldn't grow to your full potential, but that's not true.
I don't think there's any scientific data that says that that's a fact.
I 100% agree. And I think anything that would imply that stuff would happen, the environment's not controlled or it's not like supervised by someone that's actually capable of supervising it. So they're like injuries led by people doing ridiculous things.
But there's injuries. Like I've worked with a girl.
Phantom stuff, you mean?
No.
Yeah.
Talking about phantom limb pain.
Is that when someone gets their arm chopped off?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff.
But
that's nerves and stuff.
And it is survival. I don't even want to say survival of the fittest because it's unwise coaching, I think. And I know with wrestling there's a shift just because I know people involved in training people for that sport. Gymnastics, I think hopefully there's a little bit of a shift, but they're just breaking kids down. And if you get broken down, you're just getting pushed to the side and the next girl's coming in.
Yeah.
Like they don't even care. So you could be that homeschool girl.
It's just cutthroat.
It is cutthroat. And
how much of the breakdown is from the physical activity and how much is from under eating?
So they're not eating
because
the right
those kids
stuff.
have to stay.
Some of these
that
girls,
sport has.
So think about what a
Almost the
teenager.
smaller the better.
Think about what a
but with the
teenager
most
wants to
contractility
eat.
and power possible. Trash.
Right.
Because
So
it's addictive.
Yeah. So if you're 14,
Doritos, nerds,
14-year-old
Sour Patch
girl
Kids.
might want to eat some carbs.
Yeah.
They might love their pasta. They might want to eat whatever.
Yeah, but they get that body image and they probably.
So
That's why they're so likely to develop like anorexia and bulimia and like eating disorders.
But they're not getting the proper nutrients
Yeah.
because
So
they're
you're saying
training
even if
8
they're
hours
having
a day.
enough calories or micronutrients aren't on fleek.
Why are they breaking down? Why are they breaking down? They're training hard.
I think a lot of them are under
and
eating
they're not
and
getting the proper
overtraining.
nutrition. Right.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So, where was I going with that? I don't even know. But like, they're breaking down for probably a variety of reasons, and not the focus not being on recovery is probably a pretty big factor.
Not banging
And
8 hours of sleep.
Especially. So kids probably definitely aren't doing that. They don't care about sleep. They might sneak a nap in.
But that's
to
probably
catch
what.
up, but
Yeah.
it's what
well,
they
that's
need.
probably part of the reason they released the female triad too. Then
I know we were talking about
undernutrition.
Yeah,
puberty
COVID.
starts later, so you mess up the cycles, and then bone mass stuff. So osteopenia or osteoporosis,
Yeah.
your bone mass is dropping. A kid gets a stress fracture, when it's already too late almost because that stuff's been going on for a long period of time.
But it's college,
and then
too.
that's how they do it.
Like, it's
but that's how
not
they
just-
diagnose it then.
And it's not just kids too. It's like
But there's several reasons people don't eat right either, Like part of it could be like an eating disorder, but part of it also could be lack of sports nutrition. So they don't know how they should be fueling their body without working with like a sports nutritionist because a lot of parents don't know anything either,
Look at the obese- look at
And
the
some
weight.
parents can't afford to feed their kids well.
So-
is the one I didn't really think about.
just doing some research for blogs and stuff, it's like if you look around, 40, I don't know, the numbers are crazy. I mean, 33% are obese, and then the overweight number, I think, is like around 60. So those are the people that are telling their kids, like, who's telling the kids what to eat? Obese people, overweight people?
Yeah.
Right. So, or they're seeing their parents who are people that you look up to, you're seeing the path they're on. Pizza on Friday nights, pasta on Thursday nights, cake on Wednesday, dessert every night.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what you see. That becomes your normal. That's
And
what
people
you're
get
eating.
addicted to sugar,
But
you
as a
eat cake at night and then, you get up, eat a Pop-Tart.
As a kid, you might
Like,
be
how
able to
much
get
better
away
is
with
that?
it. You could train hard, 8 hours a day, and get away with it. Say in gymnastics, but I mean, you got
That's like all that stuff. Though people
so with
after
the endurance
sport,
runners, the endurance
you see so many
runners.
people like that played whatever Division I football and ate like a truck the whole time, and then they continue eating like that, but they take away all that physical activity, and 100 pounds later,
Yep. Guys like Mark Schlereth, ESPN dude back in the day, he lost a ton of weight because he's like, I'm just not healthy. First off, he had all these surgeries, but Damian Woody, he was on The Biggest Loser and dropped like 100.
Did he gain it all back?
He may have. But he was on there and was freaking
I didn't know he was
dropping
on The Biggest
serious
Loser.
weight. Yeah.
I don't think Biggest Loser's type weight loss is
It's
the
sustainable
healthiest way to
long-term.
do it.
It's not, but I'm just using.
Yeah.
He realized
think about
after
that.
football
Think about
ended,
that
though,
strategy. If you stop working, get out of your normal environment, go to this place and work. They're probably working out 6 hours
It's
a
the
day,
same thing we're
multiple hours a
talking.
day,
Yeah.
and all their food's controlled. So you go back into a normal life with your kids, with your job, with all these things, and you go right back into the same habits.
set up for failure.
It's not obtainable to. That's not a. There's.
They're not creating an
It's going to
environment.
happen faster in that way. Like, you can't deny that. But if it doesn't stay off, what's the point in doing it in the first place? I would almost argue that gaining that much weight twice is,
destroys your metabolic
yeah.
endocrine system. Something is going to be totally messed up after that. I
Yeah.
think. And it might take years to even get it back to
heal.
normal. Yeah.
That's what I said about gut health too. Like you've been ruining your gut for 20 years. It's not going to fix something by eating sauerkraut for a week.
What about kimchi?
I like sauerkraut better. But kimchi was like $7.99 at Wegmans.
Is that
for
good?
like a little jar? I thought it was awful. I don't really know though.
We should get into the kimchi business. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It's
Start
just
doing our own
cabbage
stuff.
spicy, right?
Something to think about.
Food should be so much cooler if it had less sugar because it tastes so good. But that's why it tastes so good, I guess.
Possible Kombucha Don episode next week.
Kombucha Don coming in?
If you want to go to his spot.
Oh, let's go.
Nice teaser there. But
As much kombucha as I can drink.
we're getting back. We got to talk about the triad quick, one more time.
Okay. What about it?
Potential disordered eating or malnutrition is gonna lead to like your loss of your. This is for females. Loss of menstruation.
Or delayed.
Delayed.
It could be a delay, or it could be like abnormalities after you already have it too. Both.
And then that whole hormonal process is going to affect your bone density, your bone mineral density, which is going to lead to the osteopenia or osteoporosis.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting 22-year-olds with stress fractures.
That have bones like 80-year-olds.
Right. All because it's just this triad that affects, female athletics.
Yeah.
That it kind of just works.
It's a very slippery slope. And I think, yeah.
And it just gets worse, as the more deeper you get into it, the worse things get, obviously.
Yeah.
So
It's
something to keep an eye on
not
if you have
just
a daughter.
gymnastics and stuff like that too. I think a lot of like distance runners and like a lot of aerobic sports.
We've worked with people. We've known people in the past that ran these marathons and stuff where they just, they weren't getting the period.
Yeah.
For long periods of time.
Yeah.
When they were
like
heavy.
professional runners and stuff.
Yeah,
even, like
when they were heavy.
30s, yeah.
When they were heavy into training. So it's
Yeah.
like, man, I don't know. There's some serious effects there.
Yeah.
A lot of distance runners, females, say for example, stress fracture, but they won't give up running ever. They
Yeah.
take time off. They won't worry about their eating.
I think it's addictive, man.
They do an
Like
endurance race.
A lot of people are addicted either
They're gonna
to
slug some
winning or
beers.
to just the endorphins that's created by it after like.
And it's a lot of aesthetic too, because a lot of people are like, I can't get rid of my belly. I have to run. And it's like,
But this probably aren't a lot of those people aren't the leanest people.
they're not disciplined maybe in other areas too. You might be able to eat
If
a
you're
little
doing
bit of
enough
some.
aerobic training, aren't you going to try to hold on to fat?
Maybe, but it's just in their mind, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not in their mind.
Yeah.
They're saying the only way I could get
Is
rid
it-
of this is if I
Yeah.
run twice a week. But then running makes my knee
it-
hurt. Running, my Achilles tendon's going to freaking...
Snap.
Right.
Or dude.
But still it's in their mind that when they were
You
25...
see that all the time too. Like people running down the road, like you can tell their gait is so
man.
wonky.
Some-
and you're like, why don't you just walk? You could probably walk normally.
Because walking takes 2 hours.
It's
And
true.
people don't have time. So
Yeah, they don't have time to work out.
priorities. Should we bring up Jocko? Prioritize and
Jocko.
execute. I don't think we mentioned Jocko yet today.
Sure,
So we
boy.
got to try it. I think so. Anyway, what are we telling this woman? She's got a daughter. Say, general person.
About gymnastics?
Let's say there's an
I
8-year-old.
say if they have a
no,
job
let's
to
say
do
there's
it,
an
go do
8-year-old.
it.
Hey, I want to get my daughter involved in something.
Do it.
Anything.
Try as many things as possible. See what
That's it.
sticks.
And enjoy.
Learn
it.
more skills.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Keep a positive outlook on physical fitness and physical activity, because if the best way to not get messed up as a grown-up is to not get messed up as a kid. So you want to keep this stuff positive. You don't want to reinforce terrible eating habits, because that number of 60% overweight, say, I think the best way that we could fix that is to start addressing it with children right now. And adults, coaches, whatever, be a good role model. Don't be that coach, Anyway, don't be that coach that's 150 pounds overweight and then be barking down kids' throats about eating and nutrition. It doesn't. You have to show them. I think you have to show them the way.
That's why you're such a good coach, bro.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, parents, coaches, whoever like the role models are.
No,
I think
you're right.
you
Lead by
have to show the
example,
way.
and
Show
they
the
would
way.
actually listen.
Show them.
If you're not doing it, they're like, what? Yeah, I
Exactly.
agree.
All right, man.
You want to talk about aerobic training in youth and then...
Yeah, we have to.
All right, so
we
the
got
other
to talk
thing
about
that
this book I'm reading too.
Okay, the other thing we brought up was me and Chris
Sam.
were saying aerobic training in sport. I've started to a couple people, and people
think
get
Sam?
super salty about me.
You think Sam's listening?
I hope so.
If she is,
Sam,
then-
shout out. I miss you. You came in, saw Corey and Chris, not me. I get it. It's cool.
Frank
we
yelled
used to
at
be
you.
friends. We used to be tight.
You
But
yelled at her a couple years ago.
yeah, I should have yelled at her. It is what it is. But my opinion on aerobic training with athletes is that it can diminish anaerobic sports performance things later in life. So there's different types of muscle fibers. This was how I was looking at it. So there's type 1, which are like slow twitch, oxidative, usually associated with standing all day, walking all day, distance runners and stuff like that. And then there's twitch 2 fibers, but I think it's like 2A and 2X now, right? So it used to be A and B when I'm getting old. But A are like intermediate fibers, so they do a little bit of aerobic and a little bit of anaerobic and kind of like in the middle. And then there's type 2B, which are super like fast twitch, like PC creatine, and a little bit of like
sometimes they call it X, I think.
It is X. I think that's what they call it now.
Yeah.
2X, right? Or it's just X?
I don't know, man.
Whatever.
Even break
so
down
when I was
AX,
learning about basically the A, the intermediate fibers, they were saying that from a strength conditioning standpoint, those are the fibers that you might be able to shift one way or another way.
Yep.
So like if you're aerobic training from a very young age, those fibers are going to tend to mimic type 1 fibers. So
the slow twitch stuff,
which are highly efficient, and if that's your path, I guess that's cool. But I'm just saying it would take away from, if they wanted to get in a different sport like basketball, or something like that, kids that want to get a 40-inch vertical leap or run a 4.340, throw a shot put 45, 45, like
50 feet.
50 if you throw like 55, you probably win states. 55 to 57. You'd have a medal around your neck. That's all that matters.
All right.
But I think those are the fibers that have a little bit more wiggle room based on your strength and conditioning program.
Yeah, you can manipulate.
And you don't know what a kid wants to do when they get into high school.
So Mike Boyle, I think it was Mike Boyle.
If they like running, though, that's one thing. But if you're like pushing them into these like long distance type situations, it might actually be inhibiting their performance long term.
Yeah, I think he said this. This is not my words, even though I might agree. It's like if you want to make your kid unathletic, have them do long distance running when they're like 10.
Yeah.
It's like when these fibers can be molded. I think,
and they're not developing their ass, or they're not developing like a lot of runners lose their butt and like get a specific body type with the shoulders rolled forward. It is a shame. They lose their butt and they lose these muscle fibers that are responsible for like explosive hip extension. And if you think explosive hip extension, I know you're thinking sprinting, jumping, explosive hip extension, like
throwing.
Yeah. So if you're losing your glute,
tackling.
You're thinking all that good stuff, that good.
Yeah, man.
But that's just what we're into. Distance runners probably listen to us and be like, "What are they talking about?"
They turned off already.
Yeah. But that was my point. What do you think?
No, the same things. There's intermediate fibers that are in between that can be molded and manipulated, and I think you could train them. Say one point in time. Let's say you're 20 years old and you want to run a marathon. Fine, you can mold those fibers to help you out with the slower switch,
so
more endurance stuff.
More mitochondria,
then when
more
you're 28,
adaptations that are chronic.
I want to get into Olympic lifting. Those fibers can potentially be molded in the other direction too. But I think it was talking like when you're a kid,
younger age, developmentally.
I think it's easier to turn those fibers in one way, so basically turn them into a slow twitch fiber. Then it might be harder to kind of shift that later too.
And there is genetic predisposition for some of this. Like you only have so much wiggle room.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that are elite athletes are born more.
They do see it, man.
Type 2X, like
you can see the pop
body
sometimes.
Development, yeah.
Like there was one girl that was just like a freshman, never worked out, came in there and just changing direction and doing some jumps, and you're like, oh, like it's different, and you see it. Which you don't need to be an expert sometimes to see the difference in. People are a little bit heavier footed. They don't have that. So the fast twitch fibers though are good. There's strength involved in that too, being able to display force in a certain direction. So you could see these people and they're a little bit smoother and a little bit softer. So when we're talking about the box jumps, they just look look safer and they land a little bit more efficiently. Whereas the slow twitch guy, say that they're doing a lot of endurance running, they're in here doing some basic lateral agility drills or some high knee drills or even a jump. And their legs, it's a lot of force and it's a lot of pounding because they just don't cushion and they don't absorb.
This is not what they train for.
They don't have
distance. You want to be efficient at that turnover,
long, sustained, repeated action as opposed to being. But every step that you take is 7 to 10 times your body weight is getting that.
Sprinting,
it's that force
because
even in endurance stuff might be
running.
5 times or whatever, 5 to 7. So it's a little bit less, but it's so much force on these joints that you still want to have some strength in there too. So.
Oh yeah, I would recommend that all distance runners.
You can almost get away with training.
A lot of those people get scared because of lean muscle mass, but you can increase contractility and not gain lean muscle mass based on programming and stuff. And
strength 2, the type 2 fibers are lean muscle. You're going to eat away at the lean muscle when you do those long endurance training.
Yeah. And some of that stuff, I mean,
so do you want that
for
for your
sustainability and for injury prevention, but also for like kicking in the end of races and stuff, aren't you? I mean, I would assume you're getting into all that stuff.
But I'm sure you don't even want your kid to lose their muscle.
Me?
Anybody?
I don't
doing those
personally
long,
at all.
Those long endurance stuff, as a 15-year-old.
I can't speak for other people, but of course I don't.
That's true. You can't.
I'm all about it. You want to gain some lean muscle? That's good. That's good.
And then we got
get that stuff.
Yeah, so don't do that. Don't eat away at muscle. Let your kids build a little. I think you could almost get away with.
It just seems more of a breakdown thing than a build-up thing. Mm-hmm. Not like catabolic versus anabolic, but just like long-term. It just seems like you're breaking it down.
Well, just know it's risk too. Like if you want to run a marathon, train for half marathon. Just know there's some serious risk involved.
Yeah.
If you're a female, it might disrupt some hormonal stuff. If you're a male, you're going to wither away some muscle mass.
And I think a lot of people get into running for weight loss, but I think some of those people that get the most damage, because you're saying 5 times the force, but you're
might be more.
But you're overweight. A lot of those people are the people that end up, with the cartilage out of their knees, with their shin splints,
then you get
all kinds of stuff, spine,
and then what?
All kinds of stuff.
You get that back injury and you can't run anymore. Then it's a slippery slope downhill.
Yeah, then your activity levels are down.
Next thing you know, you got the diabetes.
The bitis.
Pre-diabetes.
Stay away from the bitis, guys. Whatever you do.
Because you can't work out anymore. So
diabetes is scary. Type 2. You get annual blood work?
Saturday, bro.
But you do that every year?
Yeah, last year though I had an insurance issue and I didn't get it done because it was.
It's good to do just to see where
I know,
get a lipid profile and
even
blood
multiple
sugar.
Times a year.
See what's happening.
Multiple times a year is what.
I only do it once, but
some of the smart people recommend.
Are they doctors?
No, just because just like Joe Rogan, who I listen to, and probably Tim Ferriss.
Well, he gets all his hormone levels and stuff checked too.
Yeah, but he's talking.
That's expensive though.
But he's the one he's talking to scientists and stuff, and they're the one. Like, he's getting his information from people that would say, "Hey, I would recommend doing it." So,
yeah.
So it's just getting trickled down slowly to me. I'm not directly talking to the doctors and scientists, but
I got what you're saying.
But yeah, no, I don't do it, and I should do it.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's on tape. Hold me accountable.
He's doing it. He's going to lead by example because he can't tell you to do it and not do it himself.
Yeah, hear that?
Heard that?
And then
D-block.
I got to tell you. I got to tell you about this book I'm reading, man.
I can't wait.
Good Calories, Bad Calories. So Gary Taubes, some people were dogging him, man. I forget who it was. It was probably that bio lane. But anyway,
is he
somebody was trashing him. No, he's just an investigative reporter that started diving into researching these diet trends and like when did fat become the devil and carbs became good? Like there was a shift, let's say in the 70s to 80s, where 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates and grains and whatever a day.
But it was more fat getting demonized and they had to eat something, right? Or was it like carbohydrate? Well, I guess corn and wheat product they were pushed.
Yeah, but we're talking about heart health and stuff and cholesterol. So there's
that's
a big
the whole
shift.
Saturated fat push thing too, right?
Exactly. But it took a long, so some of these guys say there's this dude, I forget his first name, I think it was like William Banting in the 1800s. Basically the beginning of this book is like, there was 150 years of anecdotal evidence saying that eating carbohydrates and starchy foods led to obesity. There's interviews going back into the 1800s of like, I interviewed 41 severely overweight people. This is what they told me they like. This is not like high level science, but it was just having conversations with people. It was anecdotal. Over 100 years of evidence of where people were talking and there was this Banting is what they called it, what the diet was low carb. And then all of a sudden this other guy, Ansel Keys, started coming out with some research that was like, these carbohydrates, the fats and stuff that you are eating, the meats and all this other stuff is going to lead to high cholesterol. Cholesterol's leading to heart disease, all this other stuff. But it took 30 years for some of his research to actually get pushed through because there was not solid evidence for it. But then somehow over the years it just kept.
But the more they look in, that was the one that did the study on different countries.
That study I don't know about. I was just going based off of this book. I didn't really dive into outside
studies
stuff.
Are just hard because
I only read like
you need
25 pages.
You need to dig in and like look at the sample size and what they're actually studying because people want to prove their point.
The sugar
it's like documentaries. You can see a good documentary when they're kind of in the middle and like provide all the information compared to like one way, you know?
Yeah, and I think the New York Times had an article where they looked at the sugar industry, I think, funding research that said, I think to
demonize fat.
Fat because low-fat products have more sugar in it.
Yeah.
So
because they still want to make them taste good.
Right. So then there was studies that supported the evidence, but the studies were funded by the wrong industry. Anyway, studies are
weird
funded
stuff too
by
because I feel like it get you into these eating cycles. Whereas fat is kind of like sedity, like makes you feel like full. I feel like sugar's like a vicious cycle.
Well, that was the thing
like
too with those old school
and
diets.
And
like this, the same evidence that like Leo Tolstoy is this author, Anna Karenina. I don't know what it is. It was a play. It was a book, a classic piece of literature. In that book, this guy wanted to lose weight and trim down for a horseback equestrian race or something, and they said he eliminated the starchy foods. Like it's written down in a book written in the 1800s.
Yeah.
There's this guy Banting that studied it. There's all this other anecdotal evidence, and it was like, that like the starchy foods and stuff were kind of going to lead to obesity and being overweight. Anyway, the obesity
too,
rate though in the
like
60s.
People like there's like everybody also says carbohydrates bad unless you're using it, but there's like people out there doing like ultra marathons that are in ketosis too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's necessary to have carbohydrates.
So I don't want to say that they're awful either. I don't want to say that they're not necessary.
Like I think some people are completely healthy that eat carbohydrate.
But the thing that got me though with that book was like it was obesity rate was 10 to 12% consistently from like 60 I don't know the years, 60 to 80 say. It was around 10 to 12%. Then it might have been around like 1983 it starts to climb again. And right around that time is when fats were demonized. Now we're at like 33% in a short amount of time. So there was like it was pretty constant, say 10 to 12% for
part of
a
that's
long
lifestyle
period of time.
too. People were way less active than they were. The normal person's way less active than they were in the 80s.
And they called it the
But when did the
diseases of
food
civilization.
pyramid came out in the 90s, right? With the 8 servings.
I think it's the 80s though too.
Oh, okay.
I think that's when the shift happened, when it was 6 to 11 servings.
But is that lobbyist money pushing that through? Because other research was there too.
Could be.
So like it's the crops that big money wants you to eat, right?
Yeah. But yeah,
Soy,
anyway, it's interesting
corn.
stuff. It's worth a look. It's worth you want to try to lose some weight. I mean, causation,
Carbs aren't
correlation,
bad,
whatever.
You
They're
smash
not all
vegetables,
bad. I do eat them, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had some.
I like them, love them.
I get some guac and some benitos. It's a good little chip alternative out there. Crush some of that. So I eat them. I just try not to eat them all the time. I ate a burger the other day without a bun, and I loved every minute of it. It was
that's the best part. Red meat, bro. What do you think about red meat?
Carnivore style.
I love that stuff.
I have no reason not
B
to.
vitamins, iron.
Only if it makes me feel
like
bad sometimes. Like if it makes me a low quality piece. Like if you get like some sort of like burpiness situation or something. I don't know.
It makes me feel good. Like if I feel down and eat red meat, I feel better.
You should go carnivore, man.
Should I?
No.
I don't even have an immune disease.
True. It's worth a look if you do, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, you read. Yeah, sometimes
I like vegetables, but I think there's got to be some like wiggle room to be in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I want some veggies and some meat.
Definitely want some veggies. I don't think I get enough of them, but veggies and eggs.
They're not good right now. That's why you don't eat as many. When it's summer, when they're super fresh, they're getting them local or you're growing them, they just taste so much better.
True. Absolutely.
Instead of being shipped,
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%.
Picked early, shipped.
What else you doing, man? Anything good? You got anything war on carbs for us?
War on carbs. No.
No. Your job what? You said just.
I don't have a war on carbs.
What
I
do
eat
you got
carbs.
going on? A lot of people asking, man. They want to know what Frank's getting lean and mean on us. How much has it been in the
A lot of
last year?
people talking about me, bro.
They like what they see, man. How much we talking here? What are you at? What's the countdown at?
Weight loss?
Weight loss.
45 pounds.
Nice. What's the goal?
Originally, I set it at I wanted to hit 55, but I might go a little bit lower than that.
Dude, once the weather breaks too, you might hit that.
Well, I'm
Get
gonna start
outside.
walking like a madman again.
Start sweating more.
Yeah,
Start doing some labor.
I'm way more active.
Yeah.
In the summer.
Start cutting down trees and stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. I can't wait for this weather to break.
Yeah.
I might hit
What
the track.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. Are you technically overweight on a doctor's thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, right?
BMI. I'm
Yeah.
pushing obese. Yeah.
Yeah. You look real obese.
I know. Thanks. Yeah, I am.
6 pack later.
5'8". I should probably be about 168.
5'8".
Sorry, 5'7.5". I should probably be about, now because of that half inch, I should probably be about 164 maybe. 165 pounds. I'm about.
So you're
180.
26 pounds overweight.
I'm about 85.
Oh, more.
I would say 80 to 85 in the mornings, and then I probably gain 5-6 pounds every day, and then
Oh yeah. Water, food.
a lot of water, not a lot of food, but I think enough.
How much do you think I should weigh then?
I don't know. We'd have to look that up, which I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't worry about it because you got some muscle on you. You got some strength in there. I don't know, man.
We'll
Boom.
see. We'll see where it goes.
Impromptu.
You know, we'll see where it goes.
Episode 8. Yeah, we're bringing Frank in maybe every week, I think.
It is
might
fun.
have to do one.
We should get a
we'll track
third
his
in the
progress.
mix too.
3 people?
Yeah, we should try one with 3 people.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Bravo in the back. Get Corey in the back.
Next episode, we're talking about aliens because of Apparently, if you go on YouTube, aliens are like what people want to see and hear about. But anyway, guys, podcast available YouTube, ChrisFluckPodcast.com, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes. I figured out what I'm going to do with my Patreon account. I got a newsletter. I got a blog. I do some videos, not too often, but I'll do some videos here in the gym. I'm hitting almost one video a day for like a week now, which is like impressive for me. So anyway, all of my stuff, I'm just going to try to put it on Patreon.com. What's Patreon going to do? It's going to help support the podcast. It's going to help with equipment, help with kind of getting some people on, giving us some flexibility in the schedule, and just some general stuff. I have a guy that does the production stuff, and eventually he's not gonna be helping me out. He has his own life. Anyway, to produce more content, it's gonna take a little bit of money. So anyway, Patreon.com. I'm gonna try to streamline all my content. It's gonna be on there. If you guys could donate and just kind of support, if out of the goodness of your heart, we would appreciate that. Anywhere from $1 to
whatever,
10 million, anywhere in that range.
10 million to get your kid in school for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, you could donate there, just out of support. And I'm going to get some T-shirts made too where, any kind of contribution that you make, I'll just send you a T-shirt, Chris Fluck Podcast, just to kind of help us out here a little bit and kind of keep this thing rolling. Anything, man. Anything to close it out?
Here's to a stronger America.
Boom.
Anti-frail.
Thanks
Love
for watching, guys. Peace, everybody.